Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so on average, right, it takes about 18 to 254 days to form a new habit.
Wow.
Right? And for behavior to become automatic, it takes about 66 days. So what about a person? Like, how long does it take for a person to change completely?
Wow, and that's a good question. But before we even dive into that, go ahead and like and subscribe if you have not already. We do drop videos like this every single week.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to that, how long does it take for a person to change completely? And the key word here is change. And so a few weeks ago, story time, right? So a few weeks ago, I went out with a group of our older friends.
Yes.
And by the time the night was over, we were having a discussion. So I may be naive in terms of how I viewed it, but they were actually saying that people don't change generally, right? And so they said on average people don't generally change, no matter how much we would like them to, no matter how we would project change onto them, that they don't.
Mm-hmm.
And, that got me thinking a little bit, and a little bit disappointed because they were older, in their 60s and
60s, 70s, right?
So to have that viewpoint on life, to me, is kind of like, wow. And, do people generally don't change? So their advice was that whether it's friends, whether it's people that we surround ourselves with, relationship-wise, to surround yourself with people whose habits, good or bad, you can tolerate. Because it's going to be that same habit
for the rest of
knowing
them.
Exactly.
Dealing with them.
Yeah.
And that to me also was disappointing because, I did respect their opinion up until that point because, they're very successful. So they're like, all right, if they have good advice, they would have really good advice, right?
Yeah.
But I was just like, what? Like, people can't change? That's ridiculous because then what have I been doing for the past
and then when you think of when you're
5-6 years, all this change and work that I've been putting towards myself, am I really just being delusional as far as the changes that I did make? And they did say something else too that was interesting, that we really are just one trigger away from being our old selves, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Now that one, to me, I had to sit there and think about it, because being one trigger away to me is kind of like you're the Hulk. Somebody says something and now you're pissed.
Yeah.
All of a sudden now you're the Hulk. You're smashing. You wanna go on a tantrum. And if you're one trigger away, that could lead you to that extreme that you're the Hulk, and that so to speak, to me, is that you haven't done the work.
Okay.
Because it's giving, like you faked it. You put everything in a closet and now everything's coming out.
Now that makes more sense, because you're right. Like, if, all it takes is one word for somebody to bring you back to the old you, then you haven't really done the work, because the work process is like, that is what it's working on.
Yes.
Like controlling the ways that we are triggered by things that people say or do, and etc. So if the same thing is able to get us back to our old selves, and we really have not gone through the process of, questioning our behaviors, questioning our own thought patterns and things like that. And you're right. That I really just disagree. If anything, I feel like they're noticing another pattern that they're not naming correctly. Like perhaps if you don't hurry up and make a change, you could blink and, years later you're doing the same things over and over again, hanging out with the same people.
Okay.
And really just nothing have evolved.
Yeah, which is, if nothing changes, then nothing changes, which a lot of you guys can relate to, right? Wanting to actually do a change in your life, but then you get paralyzed or whatever the case is, you make excuses, you overthink, and so then nothing changes.
Yeah, or, perhaps they're hanging around the same group of people that pulls you back to the old you, because your friends, your family, your environment, that's the first thing that's going to try to pull you back to the old you when they do realize that you dare to try to make a change. It's kind of like the Matrix, right?
Yes.
They notice you and they're like, wait a minute.
Exactly.
What's going on over there? Or you trying to change it to somebody different, somebody better? How dare you?
How dare you? Who do you think you are?
The audacity.
Right.
But yeah, change is definitely possible. And if you are still a trigger away from being the same old you, then that's a hint, a flag that you have not really done the work.
All right.
And you're trying to cheat your way through life. And you should just quit while you're ahead, okay?
Yes,
go back to the beginning and do the work for real.
All right, because that's one thing you cannot do, cheat your way through in terms of like healing.
Yes,
because
you can't fake healing.
No, it will always come right back when you least expect it, when you most expect it. But it don't give a crap. It will just come because that's what that's one of the reasons we're here too.
Yes.
So we could be the better versions of ourselves. So it's not something you want to. It's not something you want to just throw in the back of your closet
and half-ass, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, let us know what you guys think. I mean, do you really think that change is possible, or is it subjective to the person? Because we all are living our own realities in the same world, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little interesting how we each have our own take on life and our different opinions.
Yeah.
But we definitely want to hear and know about it.
Exactly. Is there a limit of where we reach where after this change is not necessary, or is it like it won't even make a difference?
It's an age thing, right? Like after a certain age, you just can't change no more. Is it really like that, or do you think it's just there is no age limit to when you can change? How many times you can change?
So we definitely love to hear about it. Go ahead and subscribe if you have not. We drop videos, like I said, every single week. Hit the bell for a notification. Okay, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.